Yo, 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 Kazan here, back at you again. What's another video? In today's video, I wanted to simply talk about how I feel like we're wasting our lives in a lot of ways, and I feel like we need to just start doing more and less like planning and thinking, right? Like I hate this thing, I hate this ideology where like a lot of people like they don't want to go out and do a thing because not other people are doing it, right? Like for example, like going to the movies, like unless like a big friend group is all going to the movies, people don't tend to go to the movies. Or like if you want to go out to do anything, honestly, unless there's a big group involved tied behind that, we don't go out and do that. And I don't see why. I kind of just hate that like a lot of us as humans are just afraid to go and do, right? We rather just sit and like doom scroll and rather just wait for the prime opportunity with everyone else to do it to make it more fun to do. And I know it can be fun to go hang out with your friends and going to movies and like parties and things with friends, make amplifies the joy of it, but why can't you do it alone, right? Like, and that's another thing is I feel like a lot of us are too much tied to it, and my friend group especially. Like, I know a lot of my friends are very introverted, including myself, so it's really hard to get those guys all to come out and all to hang out at one place, right? Like, it's very few times I think we all get out together and hang out, and I think that it's so dumb that a lot of us, literally won't go out and hang out or won't go out and do anything unless our friends go and do that kind of thing. And that's my kind of philosophy. Is that like you're gonna hinder yourself and never do any of the cool fun things just because your friend doesn't want to do that? I think that's so dumb, and I think that you should go out and do the things you want to do, right? Like who cares if you're doing it alone, or who cares if people look at you weirdly for doing it alone? Go out and do it, right? Like I for one, have gone to the movies like multiple times. Like I kind of make it a routine now to go to the movies alone, right? Like I love to go to the movies so much that I actually make it like an effort to go out and see the movies myself, like alone, right? I just enjoy the movie so much, so it's like I don't care if anyone's going. I want to go see the movie myself because I enjoy this experience, rather than oh, no one else is going. Fuck, I really wanted to go see that movie. Oh well, I guess I'll wait till it comes in at home. Like that's just my way of thinking and philosophy and how I perceive it. And I mean, you might think of it differently, right? Like the hanging out aspect, like the activity itself could not have been the fun thing for you, right? And you rather want the interaction with friends. But I also think that like you could have more than one friend group, and I think that's another thing people are afraid to do is to have other friend groups and realize that you could have friends that do different things, and instead of just if your friends don't want to go out and do things, try to make new friends that are more outdoorsy if you're a more outdoorsy kind of person, right? Or more go getter out there. And also just like a lot of times I feel like we have our friends and other things kind of are like roadblocks and are decision makers for us, right? Peer pressure is a big thing and it is real, and I think that like kind of not even like them pressuring you to do stuff. I think a lot of them not doing things pressures you not to do them, right? I think there's like this sense of opposite of peer pressure, but I don't know how to explain it. Like it's not like your friends are peer pressuring you to do something. It's that the fact that your friends aren't doing anything pushes you to not do anything because you want to be cool like your friends are, right? And I think that's just kind of this weird middle ground that I hate. And I kind of hate that people are all so comfortable at doing this. And society has allowed us to not embrace the idea of like solo fun, right? And having fun as an individual, right? Like you have to get a girlfriend, you have to find love, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to experience the world with someone else. And it's like, I hate that kind of feeling, right? Because I love to be alone. Because I'm an introvert, right? Being alone is cool, but like that doesn't mean I don't love to go out and do things either. Like I love to take walks at the park. I love to go to the movies, like I said before. Going to the arcade is also a fantastic activity to go out and do alone. There's so many activities that are fun to just go out and do alone, where you do not need to, know anybody who you are that's there. And I think that's another thing that people I think fail to realize is that you can go out and live alone. But you could also what you could do is you could or you could go out with friends or whatever, but you could also, go out alone and still talk to other people and make friends, and have connections with people there, even though you went out alone. I think that's another thing people fail to realize, right? Like if you like, especially like some activities, like an escape room is a good example for that. Like you could technically go to an escape room alone, and like yeah, sure, you could do it alone, but there's probably another group you could probably join in or hop in on the fun with rather than just doing it yourself, right? Like I feel like that's just something that's totally a possibility that could happen, and I don't think people would be too against you doing that kind of thing, right? And things like that. And I don't know. I'm just trying to push the idea because for so long in my life, I was afraid to go do the things I wanted and afraid to be out there and be individual because I was like, well, I'm not doing it with anyone else, right? It's kind of like, why would I do that alone, right? But like you do your errands alone, right? I think that's one thing that we feel like if you're willing to go out and do your errands alone, like, go grocery shopping, get gas, do this and that all alone, why can't you do fun things out alone as well, right? I just don't see why we as a society have failed to allow us or failed to make it like socially normal to go out alone and do things fun alone. And I mean, some people do, right? I have noticed people also have also gone out and done things alone, but like it's just this weird sense of like when you see people, they're always gravitated towards someone, right? When you're in public, you always see a group of two or a group of three, right? It's very rarely where you see just a single individual, unless, like I said, it's like going grocery shopping, going to work, go, doing, getting a haircut, just doing like more like chore like behaviors rather than like or I guess responsibility things rather than like something fun, right? They don't do the fun things alone, right? They only ever go out with friends, and I just hate that, and I just really do hate that kind of mentality, philosophy. Just the way of thinking of like that. It's just such a bad way to think, and it's just limiting yourself with so many great like chances and opportunities and fun things that you could you go to experience, right? And like how else will you ever to meet new people that way, right? Because if you're in a group of people, you become harder to approach, right? Like, I'm not gonna say you're like weird or anything, but if you're in a group with like five people, it's way harder to approach or interact with other things because you have to keep it within that group, and the group says, what the group says as a whole is what you guys do, right? And like even though you want to go do this thing, if they all want to do the other thing, you're not gonna just magically go do the other thing, and it limits your possibilities and things. And I'm not gonna say like it's bad. Like I feel like I'm really painting the bad picture of hanging out with friends. Like hanging out with friends is great and amazing. And if you have the opportunity to go do that, yeah, go do that for sure. I'm not gonna tell you not to do that. But I'm just saying that there's another side of going out and hanging out and experiencing things alone, which is a totally different feel. It's just a different vibe, right? Like driving in the car alone is a great activity of mine. I love driving in the car alone. Like it's just such a weird sense of peace, listening to the music you want to alone in your car, doing your thing while others are on the roads, like, right? Like, it's just a weird feeling that I can't describe unless you, like, do it, right? Or, like, going to the movies alone is another one where it's like you just you can't explain the experience of that and the joy of doing that unless you go out and do it. I mean, I don't know. As an introvert, I think it's one of the greatest like it's one of the greatest cheat codes once you find out you don't need anyone else to do anything once you go out alone. Like it's like you broke the cheat code right now you could go have fun with anything in life without ever having drain your social battery, right? Like you don't ever have to do that. Well, I mean, you do have to drain your social battery with strangers and things, but I think my social battery with strangers and things is more tolerable than my battery with like friends and stuff. Like my friend battery can get really draining when I'm talking and hanging out and trying to keep like a very like energetic fun lifestyle for like 8 hours straight in public rather than going out alone where I could don't have to speak and be like this utmost energetic person. And I don't know, I'm kind of rambling on, but I hope you get what I'm saying, and I hope you can maybe go out and do something cool alone too if you haven't if your friends aren't willing to go out and do that thing or go see that latest movie. Go out and do it yourself, bro. You don't need your friends to go do anything in life. You don't really need people at all to go do anything in life, honestly. Like I feel like that's like the biggest lie society has told us is that like we need people to do things, and we need to have be able to like I guess share it, right? Social media I think is the big reason for that. Like the whole idea where like you have to share your experience and share what your life is like rather than you just living your life, right? And that's another thing, right? Like there's no need to take pictures or to share about your experience with your friends or anything like that. Like literally you just need to go and do it, right? For so many times I went to the movie, I didn't take one picture, I didn't like record one thing. I didn't save the ticket or anything. I went, I did the event. The event is gone in history. It's gone to the wind. The only person that knows that I did it was me, myself, and I, and no one else does. So, and that's just kind of the beauty of that, right? Like, no one else needs to know you did it. No one else needs to know how you did it, and you don't need to prove to anyone that you did it. Really, honestly, you just need to go do it, enjoy it yourself. Keep it to yourself. Honestly, now, I'm not saying you can't share it at all, right? If you want to share that, hey, I went to the movies alone today. It was lit. I think that's a fun and great thing you could do. But like, you don't need to like you don't have to do this kind of thing, right? It's not a necessitational thing that you need to do in order to like fulfill it, right? And I think that's the bad thing about people. Because I saw a video one time where this girl said, it was a girl on like, I don't know, it was like some kind of like doom scroll app, and she basically was saying how like, would you go to a fully paid vacation for free, but you couldn't post any pictures or take pictures of it? She's like, no, like what? So like nobody would do that. Why would you do that if you could like post about it and show off that you're doing it? I'm like, what? That's like the dumbest thing ever. You would literally go for a fully paid vacation and enjoy one of the best times of your lives just because you could like show off the fact that you were doing it and like flex to your other friends or whatever or post it online. I think that's like so stupid, and I think that's like the reason why we've like failed to realize the beauty of enjoying our activities and just doing them rather than trying to like gain something out of it rather than just having fun with it, right? And you don't need to have like these tied connections to anything with them, and that's just my philosophy on them. And I don't know. I'm like rambling on, and I feel like I'm probably saying things over and over again, and like not putting it to the right picture. But I really hope I get across, because as long as one person goes out there and does something on their own and enjoys it, I think I'd be happy with this video. And I think this video actually did its purpose, right? And encourages someone to come out of their shell and realize the beauties the world has to offer, rather than to just not enjoy what the world has to offer just because it isn't the way the society wants you to do it, right? It isn't the way society has told you to do it. And that's just the biggest thing with me. I kind of hate, social norms and the way society has put us up. Because I feel like a lot of, not all social norms, but I think a lot of social norms and the way society is put up, it's just all these weird fake boundaries things to just make life difficult and weird and annoying, right? Like they just push you to do this or do that and make your life so much more challenging and so much harder to just enjoy yourself because, you got to fit within social norms rather than just embracing it yourself. And I just kind of hate that. And that's why I'm just going to be a big advocate to tell you what I believe and what I think and how you should, how you could, benefit your life, right? That's the whole point of this channel, even, is to, break the social norm of just, I understand, I'm not going to edit my videos heavily, no crazy intros, no crazy, memes or whatever on the thing. I'm playing an ancient game, I'm just talking about what I have to say, right? Being genuine with myself, because that's like what life's all about, right? Is to be genuine, to be true to yourself rather than to be this, hyper fixated, mind cognitive brain, I don't know, social norm, like brain rot human being, right? Like, there's the meme where like all the women are like, they all wear the same like white shirt, same shorts, same white shoes, like they're all like the same, right? And it's like the meme, and I think that meme is like so funny because that's just how like true as society is becoming, right? Everyone wants to hit the new trend, everyone wants to be the same person, do the same thing, right? And if you don't follow that social norm, you break that trend and you break that thing. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. No, I want to be like everyone else. It's like, why? Like, why can't you be your cool, wacky self, right? You might get laughed at, you might be looked at differently, but who cares, right? You are you, and you get to enjoy the best version of life because you don't have to follow what everyone else is doing, right? You don't have to do that thing just because you don't like it, just to gain, an extra like on social media. And you don't have to, uh, be this kind of way just so that you become friends with majority of people, right? Like, do what you do because you enjoy it, not because other people want you to think that it's like the thing to enjoy, right? And that's just how I feel and want to say. And like, even in this game, right, like I rock the like the weirdest camos, the camos that not many people like. Bacon camo, not many people rock bacon camo. A lot of people hate bacon camo, but I think bacon camo is a funny camo to run, right? And I think it's cool, so I'm gonna put it on. I don't care what other people say. I like the camo, I think it's cool, I think it's funny, so I'm gonna wear that camo rather than oh, diamond camo is the coolest camo, you work so hard for that, I grinded that out, I'm gonna put diamond camo on. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's another thing I hate. It's like everyone in Call of Duty goes for the new mastery camo, right? And they spend all their time grinding and going for this camo just to show off. And I feel like the whole point of the camo grind isn't even for the camo anymore. It's all just for the flex, the status, right? Oh, I did it first, or I was one of the first person to get this camo, and look what I have that you don't have, bro. I put that, and I'd be part of it. Some people aren't like that though. Some people like to just show off that they like put the work in, right? They went through this pain to achieve something, right? And that's why a lot of people go for it. But a lot of people, I feel like the point of it is to flex, is to show off that you have this camo that that other people don't. And I think that that's just so lame to me. It's like you didn't actually get the camo because you wanted it. Like sometimes the camo's ass, like Damascus camo. Like if you went for the Damascus camo, I'm sorry, bro. From 2019, like that camo sucked, and you only got that camo because you wanted to show off the fact that you got Dark Matter that year, rather than actually wanting the camo, right? And I don't feel like anyone wanted that camo because that camo was not that good, right? That camo sucked. And that's just my philosophy on it. Right, if the camo is cool, like if the camo is like super cool, like Dark Matter, I can see why you would want to go for. But the camo sucks or is like mid at best. I don't know why you'd waste your time getting it. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned something, and I hope you can apply it into your everyday life. And as always, let's look at the stats. We went 37 and 41. Second on our team. Our team did lose, but that's actually pretty good. I feel like it's better than what we normally do in these videos. But as always, guys, I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.